Hello everyone, and welcome to Week 4 of Season 2.5 of the International Pokemon League. I am today's commentator, Matt, aka Fat Lard, aka Lard the Great. Here we see a Week 4 matchup between the Beach City Corphish, headed by Richie, and the Toledo Mudkips and their head coach, Nihal, aka the Commissioner. So Richie, starting off with a bit of a struggle, coming into this match 1-2. Started with a solid victory against Jared and the Hollywood Howluchas, but fell to two teams that are currently undefeated. Myself and the Cleveland Escavaliers, and Mayo and his Aegis from Down Under. Nihal with starting off with a solid 2-1 record, beating both the Dayton Dratinis and the Gardevoirs, while falling to Jared and the Hollywood Howluchas. So both teams have given me their starting lineups, so we can take a look. Just a second here. Alright, so if we look at the teams that both teams brought, here you can see them on the screen here. A little surprised by Nihal bringing both of his hazard setters. With Stealth Rock coming from Swampert and Spikes or Stealth Rock coming from Skarmory. Obviously, Richie has the Mega Sableye to bounce back hazards, and realistically his team isn't particularly weak to hazards. The only one that really sees any kind of problem with it is Tornadus Therian, and luckily he has Regenerator to mitigate the damage coming from that. Nihal opting to not bring his Mega Medicham. Understandable, considering it really struggles against Mega Sableye. It can't fake it out, and high jump kick. Anytime it throws out a high jump kick, it can. If they throw out Mega Sableye, it can go down quickly due to that recoil damage. Richie opting for a bit of a bulky looking team. Electros, a slower Pokemon. Obviously, the Electric type with Levitate usually runs an Assault Vest set. He's got two possible hazard setters in Seismitoad and Garchomp, as well as Tornadus Therian has quite a bit of bulk thanks to both some solid stats and Regenerator, and obviously Mega Sableye rounding out that core. Bisharp is it's an interesting thing here because it's Richie's best answer for Florges, but also struggles against a lot of the rest of the team. He can hit a lot of things with knockoff, but when he goes for Iron Head, there's a lot of things on here that can take that, and obviously you have Darmanitan able to retaliate, possibly Scarfed, or just hit it really hard with Flare Blitz. And alright, looks like their match is up, so we are going to open her up and get started. Alright, here we go. So, both teams preparing. Oh boy. I mean, it is what it is. Shaman really is important here for Nihal to hit Seismitoad. With its just its stats and its Water Absorb, it's gonna really all three of his threats at least are going to struggle to do a lot of damage to it. Darmanitan, Swampert, Feraligatr are going to struggle to do any kind of damage to it. So, let's see. Let's tell them that we're ready. Uh-oh. adjust. Man, this thing. That's annoying. Alright, here we go. So, Mega Sableye choosing to lead off with, or Richie choosing to lead off with Mega Sableye to hopefully get to the Mega before Richie has a chance to do anything. Unfortunately, Darmanitan is a very threatening lead. It probably will, if Richie has the Fake Out, take that. But it can throw out a strong Flare Blitz either the first turn or if it gets faked out the turn afterwards, which really can do a lot of damage to Richie's team. So you expect if he doesn't go for the Fake Out here, you almost have to see a switch into Seismitoad. Yep, and there it goes. Ooh, with Nihal opting for a U-turn. U-turn, a very powerful move in this meta. Simply because of the limited team building, you got a lot of very matchup dependent Pokemon and ways that things go, and U-turn obviously big. So U-turning into Shaman, who quickly Seed Flares. Richie opting for the smart hard switch into Tornadus Therian. And Tornadus Therian also opting to go for the U-turn after Nihal switches into Florges. Florges really interesting, incredibly specially bulky. I like Sylveon better, but Florges obviously a very solid fairy type. Really gonna cause Garchomp can hit Garchomp hard if it comes in, and that surprisingly strong special attack. It can hit it throw out Moonblasts, and it also has Wish to go on. So Richie's U-turn ends up going into his Electros. So Electros also really interesting. One of my favorite Pokemon, really. Not particularly viable in the upper tiers, especially because of its lackluster speed. But it is a pretty good Pokemon in this format. Interesting play. I think he goes for the Volt Switch here. Oh, he goes for the Acid Spray. Now, Acid Spray, interesting move and a fantastic switch into Skarmory by Nihal. Obviously, I think you can expect him to possibly throw out. Oh, and he goes for the hard double. Ooh, wow, Nihal just playing games with Richie currently. But on the other, while he is throwing in a lot of opportunistic switch-ins, there hasn't really been a whole lot of damage yet. So we'll see how things continue to play out. Swampert opting for and Electros pulling out the Giga Drain, but Swampert scouting it out with a Protect. Giga Drain obviously makes things very interesting. Obviously Swampert probably not going to stay in here, and realistically, not a whole lot of ideal switch-ins for whatever Richie's going to do next. Coming from Nihal's side. Oh, but he opts for the switch out. Ooh, and looks like we're back to where we started. So it seems that Sableye, in fact, is not running Fake Out. Obviously, would have run it for the first turn, no risk to that. Darmanitan, you gotta wonder if he's going to predict a possible switch and just go for a move. Ooh, and he goes for the Mega Evolution, predicting the U-turn to try and set something up. And Richie will Mega Evolve while Nihal U-turns into Florges. Florges, his biggest, really his only thing to hit Mega Sableye now that's Mega Evolved solidly, although depending on what set, either Scarfed or Banded, we'll see what Darmanitan is running. But Nihal opts for the switch, or Richie opts for the switch into his Tornadus Therian. Tornadus Therian obviously taking, a pretty, not a huge amount, but a solid chunk from the Moonblast, which obviously if he U-turns out here will be gone, will be essentially gone, is Regenerator healing every time he goes back. So we'll wait and see. Really, even so far, both teams kind of feeling each other out. Not a whole lot of offense or surprising plays going on. Ooh, with the Rocky Helmet switch with Skarmory. So now Skarmory, unfortunately, does not really have, realistically, anything that it can do to Mega Sableye. So you mean Richie here can opt for either the... Oh, he goes for the foul play, which is an interesting choice. Looks like Nihal might be fishing for some flinches here, which he... Oh, and he gets an Iron Head flinch. Richie... I'm surprised Richie did not go here for the... Richie can throw out a free... Oh, now that he gets the recover up, he can throw out a free Will-O-Wisp or knockoff here. They're really any time, because realistically at this point there's not a whole lot that Skarmory can do. It can't throw out any of its hazards, it can't throw out Toxic, there's really not a whole lot it can do. Except for continue, apparently, to... I mean, why you gotta be like that, Nihal? Come on, you don't gotta do this. Oh, interesting play. So Nihal early throwing the counter. Not sure why he showed it early there, considering that Sableye's foul play really wasn't doing a whole lot of damage. But now with the... Oh, and he gets the knockoff, which eliminates Rocky Helmet. So while it doesn't really distract from Skarmory's defensive abilities as Nihal switches out into Florges, it really limits his ability to punish the constant U-turns and physical threats that can come in. It can still wall them, but it doesn't really do the kind of damage that you like to see from something with as many limited offensive options as Skarmory. So now Florges in the Sableye check for this game. So now we'll see what Richie does. Oh wow, that is surprising. Looks like Richie going for the knockoff. Wow, a Choice Scarf Florges. That is an interesting play. So that looks... Choice Scarf Florges, wow. I guess to outspeed, it's not particularly fast. It's not outspeeding any other Choice Scarfers. But it really did... I think it might have surprised... I think I was surprised by the set. I was thinking possibly it usually runs like a Choice Spec set or possibly a Wish set. Ooh, but now Richie now looks like Richie's over U-turning, which isn't interesting. So now you gotta expect he's just gonna throw out Moonblast or possibly a Hidden Power coverage move. But really a solid Florges play from Nihal. Dealing a lot of damage to Mega Sableye, which in addition to its low speed, meaning that it can do a lot to recover, or Mega Sableye cannot do a lot to recover. And now that it's not choice locked, Richie goes for the Wish. So an interesting hybrid set going on with this Florges. I really like it. Nihal does have a tendency to throw some really tricky stuff out. Not always opting. He and his brother both often opting for non-traditional sets, non-traditional Pokemon and lineups. A lot of RU, NU picks getting thrown in there, which a lot of times can be very surprising. It's very, very high risk, high reward, because honestly the RUs, while they each have their gimmick, have a lot of ways that they can be gimped. So Richie taking a lot from this Florges as his switch to Electros takes a lot of damage from the Moonblast as he Volt switches out. So Florges still out there. Obviously he could go into any of his relatively faster Pokemon, but Florges going to be able to receive that Wish. So Florges really doing a surprising amount of work. Unfortunately, Richie's best answer for Florges, a strong Iron Head from Bisharp, is just not something... It's not a good switch-in. It can come in as to revenge kill it, but it really can't. It doesn't like a Moonblast. So this is a fantastic... This will allow Richie, hopefully, to recover. Ooh, and he gets another flinch. So Richie's really looking to recover as Nihal continues to fish for Iron Heads. Oh, but Sableye gets the recover off. So Sableye back, mitigating all of that Moonblast damage. Skarmory, really at this point, with Sableye back to full health, Skarmory really isn't looking super useful here besides as a defensive pivot. With the burn, the Iron Head's obviously not super useful, and it's really difficult to throw out spikes and whatnot when you have something and looks like Richie pulls off the first kill with a Heat Wave on the Skarmory. So Skarmory goes down and is the first kill of this this match. Not coming till turn 29. So obviously this one's looking to be a bit more of a protracted match. A lot of bulk being thrown around here. Tornadus Therian is just it's a fantastic Pokemon in this format. It can do so. I mean, even with it can do so many things. It just walls all kinds of things with Regenerator and just a good amount of bulk. And it has some solid coverage moves. Hurricane, obviously flying type, a fantastic offensive type. And then obviously he's got Heat Wave to cover a lot of what resists flying type. So now we've got the big hitter on Nihal's team as he chooses to Flare Blitz and looks like Electros gets sacked to that Flare Blitz. So now we go into Seismitoad, who looks like will throw out the Stealth Rock, and we finally have the hazards being thrown out here. And Richie, in fact, this is interesting because Richie lost his only clear 4 hazards, but Florges will take out Seismitoad with the Energy Ball. So obviously, doesn't matter, Scarf, whatever investment Nihal is running in that, because the 4 times super effective is going to hit it just way too hard for it to be able to even survive 1. So now Bisharp able to revenge kill it. So hopefully, Moonblast, wow, still faster than Bisharp with that speed investment, but Ironhead will pick up the kill on Florges. So that is a big help for Richie, even though his Bisharp was severely weakened. Having that Florges out of the way, and allowing this means that Richie will be able to throw out especially hurricanes from Tornadus Therian, who will pretty much be able to throw them out almost indiscriminately. There's really not a whole lot. It only hits Shaman super effectively, but nothing enjoys it. None of the Pokemon that are left are particularly strong on the special defensive end. So we'll see what Nihal opts in for this switch in. Really a close game. Certainly looking like it's going to be at least a little bit closer than the last week, which ended, I think the closest match was in fact a 5-0. One of the perils, as Nihal switches into Swampert, one of the perils of the league shrunk just a bit down to 12 teams. And while that does allow each team to pick up a lot of power, it does mean that matchups are going to be huge because there are so many there's so many just incredibly threatening options, as Richie opts for the Mega Sableye, attempting to burn. So both teams looking to burn something here. But as I was saying, just like the increased power just kind of leads to a lot of damage that's happening. And looks like Nihal is going to be the first one to pick up a burn. That will in fact Foul Play's weird mechanics. That will in fact allow Foul Play, or reduce the power that Foul Play does. Foul Play is just weird in general. A lot of people don't like it, especially on stall teams. It allows them to essentially run no offense and still punish heavily offensive teams for boosting up and things. But Richie really struggling. He's trying to get this burn off on this Swampert. Really just, it's bulky, and Richie doesn't have a whole lot of heavy hitters now, especially with Electros going down and Bisharp heavily weakened. So he's trying to get off as much residual damage as he can. Now Shaman comes in, obviously looking to probably absorb the burn, which ends up missing. But Shaman can in fact absorb the burn, and regular Shaman has natural cure. So while it will do minor amounts of residual damage, it can switch out and quickly get rid of the status itself to keep it from securing any residual kills. So Richie will go out into Tornadus Therian. Tornadus Therian, obviously, just still completely just walling Shaman, no matter what move it tries to go for. So now you almost expect a U-turn, which will obviously deal heavy amounts of damage to Shaman, while allowing Richie to pick up momentum and get into whatever depending on when Nihal switches in. And he opts for the Hurricane, predicting possibly switch or just wanting to pick up the kill, and he hits the Swampert for quite a bit of damage. Now, looking like, I mean, even with that, I mean, it did a solid 40% or so, but that's pretty much the most that you're gonna do Swampert, unless Richie has Hidden Power Grass or something on it. Realistically, that Swampert still has a lot of bulk. It doesn't like the Hurricanes, but it can take them and look to damage Tornado Therian, and he picks up the freeze. Wow, with the Ice Punch coverage, he picks up the freeze. Now that is huge. So that means let's take a look real quick, because I don't think that Heat Wave doesn't in fact isn't one of the moves that can cure thaw a frozen Pokemon out. So Richie's biggest threat, and honestly his best remaining option, just went down. Essentially went down, as Freeze is one of the most pervasive. Oh wow, and I've been super behind on this stinking. Sorry, that's entirely my bad. Let's see. Electros is out. So that's 1, 2. This is totally my bad, guys. So Electros is out. Sableye is now out. Wow. And Richie is now down to just a frozen Tornadus Therian and a Garchomp, which he has yet to use. So really, things really turning against Richie's favor and quickly towards Nihal. Wow, just that was insane. I mean, that's huge. Bisharp obviously being able to pick up the kill at least on Swampert, but let's see how Garchomp is able to finish it out. Garchomp taking a lot. Wow, and looks like Richie's going to go for game here. Going for the Swords Dance. Ooh, it's gonna be close. Obviously, Feraligatr can throw out an Aqua Jet here, and I expect it to come in and throw out an Aqua Jet. And it really comes down to how fast Richie can get out of Freeze and possibly make something work here. He's obviously got the Heat Wave for Shaman, but Feraligatr can carry Ice Fang. So obviously things are looking a bit dire for Richie. Still chance with some things going around here. Tornadus Therian did get the Regenerator boost. So we'll see Shaman. And Shaman, I believe... So if Garchomp is timid and Shaman... Although Shaman could be Choice Scarf. If Shaman isn't Scarfed and Garchomp is timid max speed, Garchomp has a chance to... But it looks like he'll go out into... Wow. And there it is. The hidden power, I'm assuming Ice, based on the super effective damage and the fact that that's what he went for against Garchomp. So, and wow. And so Richie is still frozen, and it looks like that is going to pretty much be game. Obviously, Garchomp might outspeed, but it's looking like Shaman can just hidden power Ice its way. Yep, and it outspeeds. So, good game to both teams. Certainly much closer than we saw last week. That freeze, I mean, that was huge. Just a huge roll right there to get that freeze and really cripple arguably Richie's best Pokemon, especially with all the matchups that it had, being able to wall so many things and go out with the Regenerator boosts. So that is pretty much it. Nihal taking the victory 2-0 and elevating himself to, I believe that makes him 3-1, while Richie falls to 1-3. Richie falls to 1-3 on an unfortunate freeze, but just really solid play all around. that floor just really put in a lot of work, forced Richie to play around it a lot. And that, obviously, the Scarf set with the Wish addition, allowing it to heal itself up and continue to do damage, obviously was huge. Surprising, a bit of a longer match than some of the ones we've seen, except for my annoyingly stally match with Cyan because of Aloe Malola. But looks like well played, both teams, and I will see you guys next time in the International Pokemon League. Also, don't forget to check out the International Pokemon League's unofficial sponsor, Saucewise, headed up by our very own Richie. The Twitter link is below. Check out the Saucewise podcast for anything you'd ever like to see about analyzing different kinds of sauces. So that is it for this time, and I'll see you guys next week. Lard out.